Picked up this killer hat last week when I was at the world headquarters of Bass Pro Shop down in Missouri. It's great to be home again, back for another full week of building the machine and building the empire. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the Monday forecast, which is my best guess of what needs to happen in the next 5 business days. 2 days ago, on Saturday, my CrossFit gym, St. City CrossFit, hosted their first ever competition, and I offered to grab my camera and come and grab some footage for their website. I got there and wow, it was a great event. Super pro look, super organized, everybody was having a great time. Yesterday, I spoke at my friend Jimmy's event, Introduction to Freedom. His event was targeted at people who wanted to make money outside of their standard 9-to-5 job, whether that was starting a business, investing, or doing something else. 8 years ago, I was actually a student of Jimmy's in this exact same course from 8 years ago. Ever since then, he's been a great mentor to me and a great friend. As you can imagine, I was totally honored when he invited me to speak to the very crowd that I was sitting in 8 years ago. And I was taken aback by how warm the audience was. It felt so good to inspire everyone with my story. Now let's talk about goals for the week. Back on March the 5th, I was at an awesome event in Utah called Baby Bathwater. It's an event led by Hollis Carter and Michael Lovich, an extraordinary event with an incredible A-list there. If you ever get a chance to go, I highly recommend it. One of the nights there, I had a priceless heart-to-heart with investor and entrepreneur Dan Martell. Dan encouraged me to create an advisory board of 3 to 5 entrepreneurs who were experienced and were really good in the areas where I felt my company needed the most help with. For the last 3 months or so, that's really stuck with me. It's been in the back of my mind, and I've been thinking about who would be a great fit for my board. Last week in Missouri, it struck me that I was surrounded by all the leaders of SRC, a company that last year sold $500 million and in the last 30 years has gone from $9 million in debt to being worth plus $100 million. And I thought to myself, geez, I may be way out of my league here, but maybe I'll just start thinking maybe somebody from the SRC team would be willing to be on our advisory board. So as the week went on, I was thinking about what we needed most inside of our company and started asking around at SRC to see who might be able to help us the most in the areas we need help. On the last full days of SRC meetings, I actually approached one of the leaders at SRC and asked them if they'd be interested. Now, I can't name any names because they may still say no, and let's face it, they may prefer this whole thing to be private, but they said they would strongly consider it and asked me to follow up with them this week. So this week, that is my number one goal, is to follow up with my potential advisory board member from the SRC family. Goal number 2. While at the SRC meetings last week, I also witnessed how twice a year they do these State of the Union style meetings where they break apart the whole business and build it back up and say this is what's going to happen in the next 6 months. For over 30 years, they've refined their format, covering everything from their financials to a competitive analysis to employee satisfaction, customer NPS. They cover an incredible wide range, market indicators, economic factors. It's really quite amazing. So I want to see what's possible for us. We're obviously a way smaller company, but I want to know if there's pieces of that State of the Union style format that we can take into Profit Factory and the Great Assistant Program. Given the fact that this Friday is July the 1st, which is halfway through the year, it's a very natural time for us to do our own style of semi-annual review. And in fact, this Thursday morning coming up, I already have a meeting set up with my team where we can do that kind of work. Let's see what happens. I'm very curious to see if we can do something just like SRC. Goal number 3. As you know, in Great Assistant, we're in the process of hiring onboarding consultants inside of the team. Last week, we had 17 interested candidates all sit in on a webinar looking over my shoulder as I did the kind of work that they would be doing if they got the position with us. Not all of them, but many of them were still really interested in our opportunity and wanted to know what the next step was. So this week, I need to invent some kind of work test next step for them. I'm a huge fan of work tests. It gives candidates an opportunity to really showcase what they can do. I've always believed that actions speak loudest. We can always do a whole bunch of indirect, predictive interview style stuff, and there certainly is a time and a place for that. Ultimately though, I love to give people an opportunity to directly show what they can do so that we can directly see them in action. I usually find when we do that, the best of the best get to rise to the top in no uncertain terms, and we all know exactly what the score is right away. So that's my best guess of what needs to happen in the next 5 business days. As you've seen in previous episodes, some weeks are a total win, other weeks are a total train wreck. If you'd like to see what happens in the next 5 days, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel here. Every Monday, just like today, I give you my best forecast and guess of what I think needs to happen next. Then on every Friday, I give you the recap, telling you what actually happened in this crazy world of building a company. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, and I hope that you make it a great week.